Okay guys, welcome back and welcome to the 2020 bracket.
Here we go.
Last year was very successful. I think the inaugural bracket.
I think people liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
It was fun for us too.
We enjoyed it. Good to see how head-to-head the drivers perform against one another.
Absolutely.
So slightly differently, we've made a few modifications. We thought about different ways in which we could make it a little bit better.
Definitely.
Make the data a little bit more accurate. That started by a good idea by you to have a mini fit with every driver.
Yep, which we've just completed this morning.
Yep.
Long session, but it was good. It kind of let us hit all the drivers on the same day, because then at least I'm swinging with the same pattern.
Yep.
And that allows you to decide what settings are best, what shaft pairing is best. So we've actually ended up with, what, 4 different shafts or something like that?
We've ended up, what do we have, 10 drivers.
Yeah, 10
we
drivers
ended up with, I think, 5 different shafts.
Yeah, which is cool.
Nemesis ZF, Ventus Blue, RPG, so 4 through 10 drivers.
Really good.
So different profiles. There's a counterbalance in there for some of the heavier headweights. There's some slightly softer profiles and some pretty darn stout ones in
There's
the
a couple
case of the RPG.
Absolutely. Before we go any further, one note that's very important to save us some trouble in the comments. This is not meant to say what is the best driver of the year.
Yeah.
It's literally mostly for fun. Hopefully you can extract some interesting things for your own swing. Yeah. It's for me to pick a driver. It's for my golf swing. So please do not take this as this driver is better than the other one.
I know.
It's just not meant to be that way. So if your favorite driver loses, don't kill us in the comments. It's just, it's going to be a fun test and hopefully some stuff in there to learn, and that's it.
The reality is, you know, there's going to be some drivers even missing from the test because they aren't offered left-handed.
Exactly.
You know, we know that. So if there is a standout driver, you know, one that springs to mind is like a Mizuno ST200G that a lot of people always want to see, the G version.
Yes.
They don't make it left-handed, unfortunately.
I'd love to try it. That being said, we still have 10 drivers.
Tons and tons.
Quite a few drivers.
We have a lot. So
on that, we've gone a little different with the bracket shape. So you'll remember last year there was 8 main drivers. We had that wild card because the LST came out late in the year.
LST was late, good point. TS4 was a bit later.
TS4 was late, and the Cobra F9 we modified because it was popular demand, basically.
Beast mode,
So what we've done this year, I think makes more sense. So we basically just have a lower extra bracket, call it like an extra round, basically.
A little qualifying round.
A little qualifying round. Now, if anyone's asking how these were seeded, totally by random. We did it, a random number generator from Google. So the drivers that have an extra round, totally by random. We're not picking on them by any means. It's just how it shook out.
So we will kind of overlay a little copy of the bracket here so you can see where everything is in their seedings. We are going to start with the defending champion
against
in the opening match against SIM Max.
Yeah, this should be good.
This will be really good.
Really, really good.
Little modification which I cannot wait for. We're not doing it on the driving range.
I do like this.
We're doing it on number 6 at Carnoustie, Hogan's Alley.
Hogan's Alley, the very famous.
You literally draw a straight line. I mean, let's do a little flyby here.
Please.
So let's see what we got going on. So we're straight down Hogan's Alley here. You've got the bunkers out here, which won't be a factor for you. They're about 240. These guys are. They're about 300. And then obviously as you work down, but this isn't much of a factor here. So this is going to be a little bird's eye view of it as well, so you can sort of see what we're dealing with. Yeah. As straight a driving hole as you'll get.
It doesn't favor really either shape. I mean, in the tournament, that's out of bounds left. Yep. So I think the players probably try to start it way right and maybe drop back in. But for our purposes, and I think this makes more sense to make it less of like a, I don't know, generic test. If a ball hits a fairway, as long as you haven't, you know, topped it into the fairway, most golfers are pretty happy with it. So
100%.
We're going to be picky making the test valid, but at the same time, I think we're going to be less picky this year because the reality is a pretty well struck drive in the fairway is a good drive. Like we don't want to be so picky on that range where, you know, if it's right of that stripe, right of the green, we're throwing it out, and it's just, I don't think it makes the test as realistic. So this, I think, is actually quite a good idea.
Really excited for this. So we've kind of tested a little bit of the boundaries of where Matt's going to hit it. We know he's going to be flying it the best part of 300. So 300 is right at those 2 pot bunkers. Basically 305 and 312 to those. And it's about, at that point, it's about 55, 60 yards wide.
Of playable area, So again, unless it's a horrible strike and I tell you don't leave that in, we're going to leave it in. We're going to leave it in the fairway.
Exactly.
Cool. Good. And we will switch back and forth once to keep it even. So we'll start here, go to SIM Max, come back to this, and vice versa.
Love it, love it. Okay. All right. Let's see the opening 5.
Opening 5.
This. Nice job.
Cool. Bloop.
I mean, the good thing is this is going to give you more of a sense that you'd have on the golf course.
That's what I like about it too.
Yeah, you can't just have a smash at it and hit it into, you know, the abyss.
And then when the season actually starts, I feel like I'll be more familiar with some golf course play.
100%. Okay. That was nice.
That was a good one.
Delivery.
That's good too.
Oh, look at the old favourite just starting out strong here.
Good.
How good are those two?
Skirt it.
That
should be good. Go. Oof.
Very good.
Yep. That's pretty good. Hang on.
Yeah. Good.
Fairway ball. Okay.
Okay. So. Nice.
I mean, aside from it wanting to draw, it's quite good.
Bounce!
Nice.
Oh!
Yes!
Oh, you rascal!
Woo! Count it. I'm just going to keep going. Just going to get 10.
The ball's teed up before the other ones hit the ground.
You ever seen me at the range?
That's really nice. The ping really has a tendency to find its way into the left half of this fairway. Now, that could be the weight in the toe. That could be, you know.
Well, that's part of. I mean, the Max is a good driver, but doesn't have the heel-toe adjustability
Definitely.
that the normal sim has.
So good. Same thing, eh? Starts off the middle line and just feeds its way into that left half. So good. Coming back. Come on. Should be okay.
Just barely going to stand, I think. Yep. It's goody.
So good. May have saved the best for last there, my man.
That was the best drive, I think. Whee!
Get left.
Yes.
Get left.
Get over there.
Easy.
Hi.
Okay, so round one in the bank. So do you want to explain a little bit about how we're going to
definitely.
How we're going to come up with a winning sort of score here?
So we introduced this the very final round of last year's bracket. More of a mathematical formula for deciding the winner. It was pretty well received from what I recall reading in the comments.
I think it's very fair.
It's very fair. I mean, I think adding the fairway as the qualification is better. And last year, I think we were using our judgment to see if a shot should stay in.
Exactly
so the fairway is the determining factor if it's in, and then all the shots that are in total up all the yardages. So 300 plus all those 10 times. Take that number, and then take all the offline. So people will be a little picky on this because they'll think, are you averaging offline? Like if it's 10 right and 10 left, are you averaging 0? We're not doing that.
No.
So there's a bunch of numbers that will say 10 offline, 2 offline, 15 offline. We're totaling those and then subtracting that from the total yards and then dividing all of that by 10, which is the number of shots, to give basically a distance and accuracy factor.
Correct.
Almost exactly the same as what we did last year, except last year we didn't divide it by 10. But I think it makes more sense because otherwise you have a number that's 3,000 something.
I love the way it's divided by 10 because then it kind of just gives us like a score.
It's a score, and it's a number that you associate with the yardage, and I think it makes a lot of sense. So I'll say the SIM Max did quite well. It's not quite as quick as G410, and I think that's where it lost out in the yardage. They were almost exactly the same on accuracy. Total offline was within a few yards actually, but the distance factor with the accuracy factor made this about 9 yards longer / better. So it's good.
A little bit on the speed. So I think everyone sort of expected LST to be still a tough one to beat.
And it shouldn't be a surprise. Again, I think that's a good driver, but when you're putting it against something that is really sort of an autopilot thing for me.
But it was an incredibly stable driver.
Very stable, very good driver.
So you were just aiming it down the left, draw back. You know, it was really, really nice.
It was really, really good.
Whereas if anything with the LST, you were starting it in the middle and then it had a little fade to it.
Which is interesting because I'm almost wondering if maybe just the way I'm swinging right now, if maybe the fade setting isn't the best, but something to think about.
It was pretty good. Okay, so
round one.
Round one in the bank. G410LST enters the bracket.
It's now basically in the bracket.
In the bracket. So the next one up, we have TS3 versus ST200.
Correct. That's next.
That'll be good.
That's going to be a good one.
Yep.
Two pretty similar profile drivers.
I think so. And shafts and those guys, we have ST200 as RPG and
and Nemesis is coming back.
Has the Nemesis in there as well.
Great. All right, we'll be doing that right now.
Okay, stay tuned for more.